Hello class, my name is Michelle DeAngelis and the topic I chose to discuss with you all today is dieting. I bet a lot of you have seen commercials on television promoting different dieting products, strategies, or regimens, and I bet a lot of you have actually tried those products and seen no difference at all. I'm here to tell you that dieting can be frustrating, confusing, and overwhelming, so I hope my presentation clears up any questions you might have about it. I think dieting is something that pertains to a lot of people in society, especially American society. It's something that most people have experienced in their lives. And to speak to my presentation's credibility, I got my sources from thorough research, from scholarly articles, nutritional experts, and health department web pages. So we're going to talk about three main topics in my presentation today. The first topic being why people choose to diet. The second topic being the greatest myths and misconceptions I found in my research. And the third thing I want to discuss with you all today is the truths behind dieting. So first, let's talk about why people diet. I found in my research that there are two main reasons why people choose to diet. One is health and two is appearance. And this information is from Kolarky in 2011. So the number one reason is health. The most common health-driven reasons for dieting are healthy lifestyle, decreased risk of joint problems, improved mental health, and developing energy boost. This information comes from Peterson 2016. The second reason I mentioned earlier is appearance. So physical appearance actually drove the highest rate of successful weight loss. And this information comes from Kolarky in 2011. And so while reasoning is really important in understanding dieting, I think it's also important to know myths and misconceptions about it. Two myths I found are, one, the all or nothing approach, also known as rigid control, and the second one I noticed was decreasing carbohydrate intake. Both of these are one of many, and they're implemented very frequently. They're also rarely successful, and they can actually be detrimental to one's health. This information comes from Beer 2020. So the first misconception I just mentioned is the all or nothing approach, which is actually defined as the avoidance of calorie-dense foods, regimented calorie counting, and fasting. So it's actually a dietary restraint, and it can result in an energy deficit. This information comes from Beer Pandaro 2020. So the second misconception I just mentioned is limiting carbohydrate intake. Carbohydrates are so essential to your health. Without carbohydrates, you have no energy and you're preventing your body from receiving its required nutrients. And this information comes from Carbohydrates, Good or Bad, 2015. So now that we talked about reasons why people diet and common myths and misconceptions, I want to talk about the truths I discovered about dieting. So the truth is, there's no one way or method that has been proven effective for every single person because genetics plays such a big role. But two important concepts I want to talk about today are one, the set point theory, and two, flexible control. And this comes from Harris 1990. So set point theory states that everybody's body feels comfortable being programmed within a certain rate and weight. And that weight ranges from 10 to 15 pounds. So the idea behind this is that no matter how much weight you lose or you want to lose, your body is always going to want to revert back to its set point. And this information comes from Harris 1990. So the second topic I want to talk about today is flexible control. This is actually the opposite of rigid control, and it's a balanced approach to eating. Basically, you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. It's making conscious food decisions, practicing portion control, exercising enough, and coping with your stress. It's probably the healthiest and most effective form of dieting. This information comes from Mule, Westenhofer, Kuhlbauer, 2011. So set point theory and flexible control are really important in understanding how to have a complete and thorough understanding of weight loss. So we talked about a few things today: why people diet, health, and appearance. Two common myths about dieting: rigid control and carbohydrate restriction. Truths about dieting: set point theory and flexible control. So in the beginning of this presentation, I talked about how dieting can be frustrating, confusing, and overwhelming. From everything we discussed, we can conclude that flexible control is probably the best form of dieting. But keeping that in mind, we have to understand the set point theory. No matter what, I want to leave on off on one last thing. No matter how much you weigh or your body matter, I think the most important thing is self-confidence, self-acceptance, and self-love. Here are my references, and thank you very much.